many calories are in the food you eat? At some restaurants, you can't escape the cold, hard facts. And at other places, you'll just have to go with your gut. In California, it wasn't supposed to be a guessing game. The state passed a popular law that requires most restaurants to list calories on menus. That's why calories are listed on the menu at this Clovis Papa Murphy's.
The shoes Kevin was wearing on June 3rd, 2004, the day he was killed. God, how do I live with such hurt in my heart, she says. It was almost bedtime, but Kevin's dad decided to go grab some flowers for Kevin's sister, who was graduating the following day.
This is the Pete Dern I know, teaching my nephews to use the fire hose at my son's birthday, spending time with his two favorite girls, wife Kelly and daughter Mackenzie, and jumping at every chance he gets to hang out on his boat, the Dash.
When you're born, that date goes on your tombstone, and then you have a little squiggly line, little dash. And then you die, and that date's on your tombstone. And your whole life is encompassed in that dash. So make your dash good.
But Pete's dash changed in a matter of moments back on March 29th. For those who know him well, that moment took their breath away.
Oh my God! Shoplifting and other theft costs American store owners nearly $50 billion a year.
This is what was left of the car they were riding in. Porterville police say Carlos Ortiz was driving the car that hit them. He told them his passenger had been driving. Witnesses told police Ortiz ditched beer cans at the scene of the crash. Officers recovered the cans in a nearby trash can. Ortiz's blood alcohol level was over twice the legal limit.
In the hot, dry Arizona desert squat rows and rows of tents full of inmates.
The sheriff has what he calls a no-frills jail.
A guard tower blinks a vacancy sign day and night.
There will always be room for inmates that commit crimes in this county.
Fox 26 News looked into Ramirez's criminal past and found a long list of crimes. He's been booked into the Fresno County Jail 41 times in the last 20 years for crimes ranging from probation violation to domestic violence, DUI, and burglary. Wednesday's victim says she's glad no one was seriously hurt. Things could have turned out much worse for her family. Court records show Ortiz has 2 prior DUI convictions. He had just signed up for a treatment program days before the crash. So far, he has pleaded not guilty. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration,
after his body was dragged a couple of feet, somehow Matt Taco Allen managed to walk away with these scrapes and bruises. According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau Hot Wheels report, California ranks as the #1 state with the most car thefts. There were more than 168,000 cars stolen in 2017, with Texas and Florida trailing behind. And the top trucks stolen are the Ford F-150 pickup, Chevy Silverado pickup, and the Dodge Ram pickup.
Some call it disgusting, others say it's just plain wrong and is a biohazard that is out of control, growing by the day. Mounds of trash fill the streets of this southwest Fresno neighborhood.
Now we have a technology that's available that is lightweight, easy to wear, that people can purchase and is available to them.
So how does it work?
This is our room where we make the projectiles or the bullets.
First, Hernandez says there is a thorough amount of testing in their lab.
That box is conditioned in an oven to a certain temperature and consistency to ensure that it reflects the human body.
A 9.5 by 12.5 inch panel weighs just more than a pound. Rifle panels can weigh about 3.5 pounds. And Hernandez says depending on the type and size, they can run parents anywhere from $150 to $600 plus. Tonight, we felt it all across the valley. Trees and bushes blowing like crazy, some of those trees even crashing onto homes and roads. Cars smashing into them and poles smashing cars. Today's damage sure to be in the tens of thousands of dollars. All of this as PG&E deals with big power outages. Even planes were battling the winds as they came in for landing. And this wild weather not over yet.
And that extreme wind you just saw, I'll explain exactly why that's happening and what we can expect tomorrow.
Does all this dust and pollen in the air have you sneezing? Tonight on Fox 26, your hometown news connection, we have a few suggestions to help you tame your discomfort.
I think any way that we can hold inmates in a much less costly manner is certainly worth it.
But it was soundly defeated. A whopping 70% of voters rejected it.
Vote no on Proposition 6.
Mims believes it failed because it got lost in all the propositions on that year's ballot. But now Fresno County can't try anything new without changing state law.
It's now the eve of Veterans Day, and we would like to tell you a different kind of veteran story.
They served secretly under the CIA during the Vietnam War. This is a story, as some call it, about America's unfinished business of forgotten veterans, and they say time is of the essence.
It's Monday. And Ye Long Vang is starting out the week making sure his first harvest of lemongrass
It's good for your body.
is going smoothly. Ye Long, a man who knows a bit of English but prefers to speak his native tongue Hmong, has been farming on about 20 acres in Fresno County since he arrived in the valley in the early 80s. But these days, time is ticking. And he has his eyes set on another kind of soil. A national cemetery, a special place where only America's bravest and their families are laid to rest. But to understand why this place is on the mind of Ye Long, we'll have to wind the clock back.
In 1960, our land blew up and we had no more school, so I became a soldier.
And just like that, a fresh-faced Hmong kid in Laos was made into a soldier fighting the spread of communism. His equipment and training all from the U.S. CIA. Ye Long was part of the Special Guerrilla Unit, or SGU as it's known, and it was also top secret.
Scared or not scared, I didn't know life or death. You only know the now.
They were saving American pilots against the North Vietnamese communist regime, disrupting the heavily traveled Ho Chi Minh Trail, and protecting U.S. military sites. Ye Long, though, worked reconnaissance. In other words, going into enemy territory.
We went undercover. We called on which planes needed to be shot down. We watched suspicious cars parked, and we'd make calls to the central headquarters, who would then relay it to the Americans to bomb it.
In the end, many Americans made the ultimate sacrifice.
Of this group, it's just me now.
And so did many Hmong.
On the Hmong front, 35,000 were killed.
Chineng Vang is the youngest son of the late General Vang Pao. His dad led the SGU.
So we weren't a foreign army. We weren't mercenaries. We weren't just hired to. We were actually trained, equipped, and taught by the Americans to do American objectives in Laos.
Chineng says the number of SGU members who've since found refuge and citizenship in the States as part of their service is now falling by the day. Right now, there are about 6,000 alive, and before they're gone, he says they hope the U.S. legislature will right a wrong. And so does Representative Jim Costa.
The history is clear, and trying to make sure that we do the right thing is what the challenge is.
Costa says doing the right thing would mean SGU veterans would be able to be buried at national cemeteries like the San Joaquin National Cemetery, next to those Vietnam veterans they fought with. But it's been more than 8 years since Costa introduced this, and when that happened, even Vietnam veteran Jim Doyle,
I thought no.
Flat out from someone who spent 1 year fighting in that foreign war. Some worry it would open up doors to other groups of people who've helped the U.S. in conflicts overseas. Time can change people, though. Even this U.S. soldier.
I would like to see them get this issue resolved before they're all gone and it becomes moot. Again, it's the decent thing to do.
And it's about respect for Ye Long. Respect for him and those SGU veterans he spends his free time with in an office in Southeast Fresno.
We wanted a place for veterans to talk, to keep their minds healthy.
The headquarters of the SGU might be bare and small, but Nielong believes they've got a big mission now, and that is hoping to get America to notice their sacrifice.
We've been Americans since 1960, 1961.
And allow them to rest forever in a special place like this.
Yes, we are Hmong American soldiers, no doubt. We earned that.
Until then, there's another kind of soil that needs tending to.
Supporters of this bill say Filipinos who fought in World War II were able to get rights of a similar kind here in the U.S., so they say there's precedent in their opinion. The bill also covers Lao veterans and would give them access to the VA. And for this legislative cycle, it's now bundled into a larger veterans bill that has support from both sides of the aisle. So all of that in mind, they think there is a better chance that this bill might get pushed through this session.
You know, I remember that battle for the same type of benefits by the Filipino World War II veterans and how long it took, how many of them actually passed away before they ever got that. It looks like some history is replaying itself here for these Vietnam veterans now. Any idea how long it will take for them to get that?
No idea yet. They do have, some confidence in that this has been bundled into this larger veterans bill that has support from both sides. So they have confidence in that. But Jim Doyle, who I interviewed in this story, put it a good way, and he said that good things take time. And he's been fighting for the Agent Orange issue for decades now, since he left the Vietnam War. So, and he still hasn't gotten to where he wants it to be. So it takes time. So we'll see how it goes. We'll continue to follow it and let you guys know.
Let us hope they all have the time to get that. All right.
Tonight, the big wildfire burning near Mariposa still burning strong right now.
At least 50 homes gone, destroyed. What else fire investigators are saying right now?
The town of Mariposa is still a ghost town tonight, but the Detweiler fire is moving. Coming up, I'll show you where it's going and what fire crews are up against.
I went up and checked them out, and it was still burning. I mean, there were sheds burning, there was fire all around me.
That guy coming across a bunch of llamas stuck in a pen and knew he just had to step in. We'll explain what he did to help them.
Plus, a number of wildfires pouring smoke all across the valley, causing the air quality alert to be extended. Those stories and more right now.
You're watching Fox 26, your hometown news connection. And now, Fox 26 News at 10 o'clock.
And welcome to the Dickey's Barbecue Pit Sports Desk. In last week's In Your Backyard segment, Fox 26, your hometown sports connection anchor Nick King showed us a great day hike in Yosemite. Tonight, Nick shows us Yosemite-esque scenery without the crowds and even closer to Fresno. Here is In Your Backyard.
I'd rather go up here in Yosemite, mainly because you got the views, you got the environment, and no traffic.
The viewpoints are fantastic. Mile High View is just fantastic. You see all the way across the range, all the way over to Mammoth Mountain, actually.
For years now, when driving Highway 41 toward Yosemite, I would see this sign for the Sierra Vista Scenic Byway and wonder, what is that? And why do I never hear anyone talking about it? Well, I finally checked it out, and now I'm really wondering, why do I never hear anyone talking about it? A byway is a side road, a less traveled, typically slower option. In this case, slow is exactly what you're looking for, because the drive is the destination. The Sierra Vista Scenic Byway goes for about 100 miles, starting near the small town of North Fork and looping around to an endpoint on Highway 41 just north of Bass Lake. Even though it's only 100 miles in the car, you should plan for a good 5 to 6 hours to take it all in.
The scenery is a lot of forest, a lot of different plants, great views of lakes and rivers and mountains. You can walk to many lakes, and you can picnic up there, you can camp up there.
Expect to stop often, too. First, in the foothills to get a better look at Redinger Lake. Then, as you climb higher at Mile High Curve, where the panoramic view includes Mammoth Pool Reservoir and the Minaret Range. Incredibly, you'll likely have this gorgeous spot all to yourself.
When I first came up here, I drove out there, and I was thinking, while I was driving out there, I was thinking, you know, this is like a hike up in the Sierra, and I'm in a car. It's amazing. I mean, when you're hiking, you hike and you come out a little bit and you come out high and oh wow, look at this view, It's that kind of experience, really.
Continuing on the byway, you'll soon come across meadows, still flush with wildflowers, even in early July. They make a great picnic spot for lunch. Eventually, an oddity called Globe Rock. It actually sits on a pedestal like someone placed it there.
There is so much to see up there. I mean, you can come up, I've done it many times and seen new things every time I go up.
2 more highlights await near the finish, both short hikes. Fresno Dome is only a half mile from the parking lot, and while it is an uphill trek, there's still not much effort required to reach the top and feel like you're king of the world. Nearby is Nelder Grove. You'll want to head to the Shadow of the Giants Trail for a 1-mile self-guided tour. In less than an hour, learn all about the history of giant sequoia trees. These are also some of the world's largest trees, the type of thing typically reserved for a national park. But again, there's a good chance you'll have complete peace and quiet. And isn't that the beauty of the entire Sierra Vista Scenic Byway?
Just enjoy yourself immensely. Just get lost in nature, which is really kind of a nice thing to do. Better than meditation, how's that?
The Sierra Vista Scenic Byway is almost all paved road and passable for even a small car. But there are no gas stations and only 2 places to stop for food or water. So load up in North Fork, the exact center of California. In your backyard, driving the Sierra Vista Scenic Byway. Nick King, Fox 26 News.
Makes you want to head outdoors. Now, if you have an idea for a future In Your Backyard segment, Nick would love to hear from you. Email him at nking@kmph.com. Again, nking@kmph.com.
The search and rescue team is on standby alert for the next 6 weeks. It's what their leader calls the drowning window because the water is so inviting yet dangerous. The Merced River that runs through Yosemite National Park is a mighty force in Maine. The search and rescue team spent Thursday doing countless rescue drills. Rangers made the river off limits this holiday weekend, but the leader of the team says accidents happen.
People don't get that you slip over here and you've stepped out in front of a 100,000-pound freight train and it's going to take you away.
To give you a better perspective of the force of the river, we attached a portable camera to a team member assigned to jump in the river. The view of the shoreline shows you how fast the current can send him downstream.
You okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Nice job.
Ian Ripperto is a park ranger who puts on the wetsuit when there's a rescue call.
Keep working, keep working, keep working.
He's a 6-year veteran of the SAR team.
All the saves are good memories. Anytime you're able to get someone out of a rough spot, especially in the water, it's a good day, and you do remember it.
Team leader Moose Mutlow says the water is unforgiving. If you wind up in the drink, here's how to get out alive.
And focus on your breathing. come up and get a clean, fresh breath of air so you don't have to fight the choking effect of taking a mouthful of water. Then look to actually get you in position so you're angled downstream with your feet up, and look downstream and think, where can I get out?
Sadly, Mutlow says 2/3 of the water rescues he's gone on have ended in drownings. But team members remain optimistic, practicing refresher skills and reinforcing technique so they're ready for the next 911 call. In Yosemite, Rich Rodriguez, Fox 26 News. The Holding brothers, Bob, Jerry, and Mike, have been a farming institution for 40 years. They farm 3,000 acres on the west side and in Madera County. Just like their neighbors, they rely on Central Valley Project water to keep their farms growing. But with the preliminary forecast of zero irrigation water for 2014, they're getting their wells in shape.
We've just got through adding almost 80 to 100 feet more pipe on it in order to go deeper because our water level is going down, and there's a limit to what that we can probably pump out of the underground supply.
When the Holdings started farming in Cantua Creek, a community that has its own post office but little else, they had only one pump. Now they have 6.
This year we've had to lower every well on the ranch. We had to do work, and I think we just finished that about a week ago.
The Holdings grow canning tomatoes that require a lot of water. Due to the drought, some farmers are altering what they grow. Tomatoes are a $434,000 crop in Fresno County. In 2012, it was the number 5 ranked crop in Fresno County. A year earlier, number 3. A sign less tomatoes are being planted.
They're concerned about the water situation. We had some executives from one of our processing canneries come out last year.
It seems all of the Holdings neighbors are putting in new wells.
I think I've seen about 3 or 4 new wells go in just within eyesight of where we're standing now.
Arthur and Orem has been drilling wells in the valley for 45 years. Steve Arthur says business has never been better.
We're booked up till middle of next summer right now. I've never seen it like this in all the years I've been doing it.
Steve Arthur's company has 7 well drilling rigs. Each one is spitting out water and mud 24 hours a day until the job is finished. A dairy in the Riverdale area is putting in the pump for farming purposes and not to water the herd. The price tag to drill down to 1,000 feet, between $180,000 to $200,000.
The average farmer, the smaller farmers, it's going to get to the point where they cannot afford to drill an ag well because of the cost of it and come out profitable.
Growers are concerned about profit margins, plus what all these pumps, new and old, are doing to the underground water table.
It's kind of whoever has the longest straw is going to get the water out of the ground, but it gets expensive and it adds on to your cost of producing that crop.
There's also the fear that the government could step in and create new rules for pumping.
I think the state could do it at any time, or if there is a triggering event that might, with subsidence or whatever might trigger it, it could be tomorrow.
Right now, no one is telling well diggers to stop drilling or farmers to shut off their pumps. But subsidence is occurring in Central California. That's where the ground sinks because the water table is shrinking. Researcher Dr. Joseph F. Poland had this picture taken with signs on the pole showing the approximate altitude of farmland near Mendota in 1925, 1955, and 1977. His research determined the level of the earth subsided by more than 28 feet due to pumping of groundwater. To date, no new pictures have surfaced to show if the ground continues to shrink.
It's an unknown, it's a gray area, but I think everybody feels the pressure of it's there, it's coming, when will it come?
Westside agriculture plays a major role in Fresno County's crop production total of $6,587 million. That figure leads the nation. Agriculture is a driving force in the county's economy as the ag dollar turns over 4 times. It's an economic engine that equals jobs. With surface water iffy at best next year, growers like the Holdings are banking on well water. Well driller Steve Arthur is swamped, and the phone just won't stop ringing.
I wonder about that when they tell me they want 6 or 7 of them. Then I'm trying to figure out what they're raising out there, but they must know what they're doing.
Many growers have decided to take irrigation matters into their own hands. They're relying on well water instead of reduced water deliveries that won't produce a crop.
It's coming from the mountain. It rolls down the hill and gets into the environment and gets down in the creeks after it's eroding away.
Frank Powell is a walking encyclopedia when it comes to gold. Twice a week, he teaches tourists how to pan for gold.
Before you go looking for something, you got to know what it is. And so I'm going to teach you that today, what gold is.
Ari and Alyssa Hausman from New Jersey say gold mining was definitely on their bucket list.
We figured this is the first time we've been in California, so we tried hitting up all the main things that we've heard of about California, and gold was one of them. So we figured why not check it out and see if we could find anything.
Before the Hausmans arrived, we strapped on some rubber boots and Powell gave us a tour of the area. There are certain indicators that can lead you to gold in the riverbed or on the side of the hill. The first major clue is quartz. Powell gives me a quick tour of the area where customers pan for gold. He says heavy rain washed a lot of gold into Woods Creek.
Pretty slick rock. Don't step on the rock, step between them.
On the other side of the creek, Powell eyes a possible treasure chest.
Right in here, man, I'd do what it took to get that crack. I'll bet there's gold in that crack. Little cracks like that going perpendicular, things like that. Those little things are high grade.
He also sees areas that are a waste of time.
These guys tunneled in right here, trying to go down in that, but there's no gravel in it. If there's no gravel, there's no gold.
When it comes to panning for gold, Powell knows his stuff.
All this gravel right here has just been brought in. A couple tricks: go straight down with your shovel, find a place between the rocks, and then just wiggle it. Put it under the water and swirl it around. Mix it up. See how that chocolate milk is getting moved around? That clay, I'm going to get all that clay out of the pan. Fluff it up and down like that, and you'll never lose it because the gold is so heavy, it goes straight down. Then go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, shake, shake, shake.
Powell says the last step is called walking the dog.
Just keep doing this until you get to the very bottom of that pile, because that's where the gold would be if there was any. Oh, there's one little color.
It turns out there are 4 specks of gold, worth a few bucks.
That little piece tells me there might be more there.
Powell loads up the pan again and starts washing out the gravel. This time, his luck improves.
Now that is called a picker. Anything you can just pick up with your fingers. Oh yeah. Now that's what you're talking about. You get a pile of those little babies. Listen to that sound. That's one piece is probably worth $25. It's a nice little chunk.
Jamestown was founded in 1848, just a few months after gold was discovered in Woods Creek. Powell says 50,000 gold seekers invaded Jamestown hoping to get rich. After the gold rush, Jamestown fell on hard times. Today it's home to 3,500 people. Powell says after close to 170 years of panning for gold in Jamestown, only 15% of the mother lode has been tapped.
But all that bedrock right there has never been dug up, and there's little pieces of gold sticking up on that.
With all the soil and bedrock that washed down the mountain, Powell believes it could be easy pickings for gold panners with patience. Rich Rodriguez, Fox 26 News.